Imagine trying to construct a monument larger than Vatican City, using up to 10 million heavy stone blocks. Now imagine attempting this 900 years ago. Before we break down the engineering that made this possible, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives. In the year 1113, an ambitious prince named Suryavarman II assassinated his great-uncle to violently seize the Khmer throne. To legitimize his rule, he needed to prove his divine mandate by building an earthly replica of Mount Meru, the mythical home of the Hindu gods. He chose a site in the capital of Angkor for his spectacular state temple. There was only one problem with the location. It sat right on top of a highly volatile, muddy floodplain. This presents a massive physics problem. If you stack millions of tons of solid rock directly onto a liquid swamp, the massive weight will cause the foundation to crack and sink straight into the earth. That this mountain of stone has stood for 9 centuries without succumbing to the liquid soil underneath suggests a grasp of physics that shouldn't have existed in the 12th century. This distant aerial view reveals their solution. Instead of trying to dig deep structural foundations into the soft earth, the Khmer engineers dug a massive 200-meter-wide moat around the entire 400-acre site. They took all that excavated earth and mixed it with sand and water, artificially building up the central grounds to create an elevated island for the temple. This system created what engineers call a hydraulic equilibrium. During the hot, dry season, the water held in the moat exerts constant pressure against the ground beneath the temple. That pressure keeps the water table high enough to prevent the underlying sand from drying out, contracting and destabilizing the heavy stones above. Then, when the intense monsoon rains arrive, the system works in reverse. The moat acts as a massive sponge, absorbing the excess rainfall so the sand foundation doesn't swell up and lift the temple apart. By carefully balancing that groundwater, Angkor Wat acts as a floating city. If that moat were to ever run completely dry, the world's largest religious monument would collapse. Once the ground was stable, King Suryavarman mobilized an enormous workforce. Over 300,000 laborers, masons, and sculptors worked simultaneously, aided by a fleet of 6,000 elephants. They used a dual material strategy to build the mountain. The hidden inner core was built using laterite, a clay-like soil that is easy to cut out of the ground, but hardens like iron when baked in the sun. The visible exterior was carved from premium sandstone. Moving 10 million stone blocks from quarries 40 kilometers away required a network of artificial canals, allowing builders to float the heavy materials directly to the site on bamboo rafts. A close inspection of these sandstone towers reveals that despite their weight and intricate detail, there is no mortar holding the stones together. Instead, the builders rubbed the heavy stones back and forth against each other. This continuous grinding created perfectly smooth, vacuum-tight friction joints that locked the blocks in place. Building the temple as a massive, mortarless puzzle gave the walls the ability to flex slightly as the ground beneath them shifted. That flexibility gave the structure the physical resilience it needed to survive the centuries. 300 years later, severe climate shifts hit the region. Prolonged droughts, followed by devastating monsoons, broke the empire's complex water management system. Without their agricultural and hydraulic infrastructure, the empire fractured. Neighboring kingdoms sailed in, sacked the capital, and the sprawling megacity of Angkor was largely abandoned to the encroaching jungle. You can see the monument's ongoing religious function today with these Buddhist monks walking the causeways. Following the empire's collapse, a cultural shift from Hinduism to Buddhism saved the temple. A handful of dedicated monks stayed behind to maintain the grounds after the kings had fled. While miles of wooden houses and markets around it rotted away, swallowed by the jungle vines, the temple's stone engineering, paired with its new spiritual guardians, kept the structure from being lost to nature. This 19th century photograph captures the ruined state of the temple right around the time French explorers brought global attention back to the site. This fascination sparked restoration efforts utilizing anastylosis, a process of dismantling the ruined sections stone by stone and reassembling them like a giant 3D puzzle. That progress halted in the 1970s. The brutal Khmer Rouge regime plunged Cambodia into war, turning the sacred grounds of Angkor Wat into a military camp, scarring the ancient sandstone with modern bullet holes. Only in the 1990s, after peace finally returned to the region, did a massive international rescue operation begin. By 1992, Angkor Wat was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Today, the monument is so central to Cambodian identity that it sits right on their national flag, revered by millions of visitors every year. Angkor Wat stands today because its builders didn't fight the forces of nature, they predicted them. They built a structure that could flex with the earth and breathe with the water, outlasting the very empire that created it.